Had to cut the show short yesterday, but this is part two of where I left off, and it's going to be kind of cool because I spent a little more time with the SY200, not a lot more time, and I found out some things that are kind of, I think you're going to want to know if you want to buy one of these things. There's stuff on it that does not help in composing at all. They're just variations on the unit. So I'm up to, it started at 001 and I'm at 048 now for the memory selectors, what's available on the memory. And in doing so, I just kept it set on dual, and I just rolled through it continuously to see what I could find with the variations. So I'd go 048 and I'd go through all the variations, see what I could hear. And what I'm finding is probably about 80%, 80 to 90% of all the variations that I've seen so far, just being on the dual setting, I'm finding about 80% are repetitive. So they might be different, but to me and to the average Joe, I don't think they're going to notice a difference. And I don't think most musicians will notice a difference either. So I think, and I'm not even halfway through what actually is on this machine, but I found one thing in particular that I thought would help me with songwriting, which it did. If you look at the last episode, I started composing something based on a sound that was coming out of the unit. That's the SY200 by Boss. So stuff like this, I'll just give you a quick play. Like that's all fancy and arpeggio and stuff like that, or sequencer kind of thing, but I don't think it's going to help me compose a song. It doesn't have something unique about it that would roll throughout the whole song. Might be a great intro for a song. Not in my repertoire, but yet. But that's what I'm finding, is a lot of these things, as I go through each number or level or whatever they're called, increments of the big LED screen, which is 048 right now. And you'll see other guys on YouTube especially demonstrating or reviewing this pedal. This isn't really a review. This is an honest musician's or composer look at this unit. So the SY200 by Boss is very cool. But like I say, only 80% of it's repetitive, which is quite a bit. So I think as a composer, something like this is great, but we'll see. We'll keep rolling through a few, and let's just see what we can come up with or stumble over. See, that sounds, that effect here, I found over and over and over through the incrementing numbers or the main LED screen. And there's different, if you search for variations of it, you'll find where they are. And like I said, that one, can't really play chords to it, but there's that to me as a performer is kind of, and other musicians listening in were saying the same thing as I was doing this yesterday. is that it doesn't sound very in what's the word? It doesn't sound very useful for live, definitely, because you're better off just going with a and a guitar effect to get something like that. There's not a lot to it. So, anyways, I just wanted to stop and say that's one of the ones that I hear a lot of. These arpeggial ones where you hit the note and it's you can play that all with your fingers. So I don't need a box to do that for me or a synthesizer to do that kind of stuff for me. So that in itself, I don't know, and maybe that's what a lot of musicians want, because they're not focused on what they're doing here. They're focusing on what they want that's in here, but they're too, I don't want to say inexperienced or lazy, but they don't have that together yet with the fingers. So that effect to me is pretty much useless. See? Sure, it's neat, but all of these are repetitive. All of them. So that one's repetitive. Let's go through it, and I'll stop when I get to something that I have not heard yet. This one's really repetitive. It repeats in a lot, but it sounds cool. It's kind of interesting. And these ones are kind of repetitive. This one I've just stumbled over. But it's cool. I like this one because it's fading in. It's not hitting the strike note. And keep in mind, I've got my guitar setting on 0, and I've got the synthesizer all the way up. Not all the way up, but that's all you're hearing. Is you're not hearing my guitar through this unit, because you can mix it in. And you can barely hear it coming in and out by cranking it up and down. So I wouldn't get anything out of that. However, this one's a little unique because I like that chord. That'd be nice for a studio effect. Composing, not so much. And that's it for 43. So let's move on to 48. Let's move on to 49. See what we can find. So number 49, the first, we're at the top of the variation. This is number 20. So we'll go, I don't know why it sets up like that. Usually you'd think when you switch to a next higher or lower number, it would take you back down to 0. But I imagine whoever was testing this, wherever they ended this, the box I think has a good memory, so it'll remember your setting even when your batteries go dead. My batteries went dead. It's also a battery eater. Eats three double A batteries. It'll eat those in about 2 hours or less. So keep that in mind. I think on stage I would definitely be running this on AC. And probably never use batteries on it, but keep in mind I'm just test driving this. It's kind of a demo. So, yeah, let's keep going. This one's nice. But it's a little repetitive as well. So let's go back down to 0 in the variations and run through them. There's 20 altogether. Ooh. Number 1 sure sounds a lot like number 20. That's repetitive. Heard that one before. Or something really close. That one's all right. Interesting. But it doesn't really knock me over when I hear it. There was a few that kind of knocked me over when I started playing it. I recorded the what I think I'll do for the next show, because there's so much with this pedal that it can really have a big effect on composing. So I think I'm going to focus on what else this thing has, but at the same time, the ones that I selected that I wanted to demo and say these ones are kind of unique. Out of that, I think there was like maybe 10 that I got so far, and I'm on 049. So I only got 10 out of that, plus all those variations. Like the variations I noticed change from each increment of the LED screen. Some have only there was one that only had 5 or 6 different variations that the Switch could find, and there's some that have 30. And how those exist, I don't know. Somebody obviously puts them in there and programs them. It's just got a little programming doohickey for a computer that you could plug your computer into and probably mess with it that way as well. I'm not even close to being there to do that. So, like I said, I'm on 49. So I'm halfway, or maybe a third of the way, a little less than third. I'm not very good at math. There's 125 LED increments. So let's move on. This is number 11, and there's another Lazy Bones. Yeah, it takes me nowhere. Repetitive. Pretty sure I heard that one before. So that's it. Went through them all. So let's move on to 50. So I'm not going to take this too far, but I just want to find one that's going to go give me something. And it should, it will. Just got to find that one. Will give me something to work on a composition with. Okay. This is called Voice Pad. So we'll go down to That would be kind of fun for soloing and stuff. Yeah, that would. Moving on, so that was number 5 on patch 50. So I would say, and this is something from I can say from experience, there are certain effects units and pedals that you could purchase. And I don't know what's out there today for other. There's a lot of stuff coming out. I've got older stuff, like I got a whammy pedal and a Hendrix pedal, which is like this. Both of those are Digi. I can't remember the company name. Anyways, whoever made the whammy pedal, really amazing pedal when it came out, and it still is today. Anyways, I think this synthesizer thing could probably be matched with something maybe in less more an affordable way, having more than one pedal. The only thing is with that, these units, the Boss unit has this memory thing. There's a switch for on off and there's a switch for memory, and that switch, you know, if you're playing live, you'd want to put those cool things in the memory one and just remember where you're putting them. With pedals, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to change all your settings. So the real plus about this unit for me so far is that I can find what I want. And don't forget, you can also manipulate these things when you find them and tweak them to the way you want to hear it. So I haven't even thought about doing that because I'm, like I said, I'm very far through the presets yet. That's what they're called, presets. Hey. Anyways, as we go, let's see what we can find. Some of their volumes are really low too, and some are really high. So you gotta watch out for that. Not quite. Those are just weird. That's it for that. So let's move to 51. Whoops. Wrong button. Still getting used to this. 50, 51. This is glassy high pad. Okay, I'm just gonna have to pause this momentarily. I'll be right back. So don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. And I'm back. All right. Where was I? Oops. No, that doesn't do much for me. That's it. Moving on. 52. African brass. No way. I went through that already? No. Lots of variations. I've heard that one before. lots of repetition. So I've gone through 53 now. We're just starting 53. And I've gone through all the variations from 1 to 001 to 053 of the presets, and all the variations on dual setting only, which I'm not even sure what it is, but I like the word dual. Anyways, and like I said, I've found just a handful of cool tones that remind me of other songs, but not necessarily inspire me to compose something. So there was only one setting that I found, and that was the one in the previous part 1, where we started composing something using that thing. Well, let's move on here through 53. That's kind of unique. And that was called... Oh, still in the synth. So I'm not sure if you can change the notes that are being played in these arpeggio kind of things. But if you could do that, that might be kind of useful to help you out on stage. And what I find is, and I learned this from Albert Lee, who played guitar with everybody, Eric Clapton and Emmylou Harris. He did the workshop that I went to, and he said a lot of his stuff, the only thing he ever used to speed things up was a delay pedal. So he would set the delay of the delay pedal so he could go like this, and it would go dun dun. So when he went, it would go da 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 da, and he could basically double up what he was playing. So that would actually sound like... and that I think is cool, because you got to work to play those off in time. Plus you got to set your delay pedal to go with the to know what the tempo of the song is going to be. It's got to be set with the tempo so the drummer doesn't get lost, or the band. That's kind of neat. So I'm just double picking on that stuff. It actually sounds a little bit like of a piano-y synth kind of thing, like someone playing those on a piano. Or a keyboard, I should say. And that's really what I bought this thing for, or the reason I'm testing it out, and I haven't bought it yet, and I don't know if I will. I'm leaning towards wanting it more. Is the although it's kind of limited, I might only get 8 sounds out of this, but it would be 8 really different sounds that I could use on a live performance. So, and something we do in the band that I'm playing for is we do a lot of dance music. And one of the most popular things you'll hear in dance music, from Casey and the Sunshine Band to ZZ Top to oh man, I don't even know what the hip hop guys are doing, but I don't hear it a lot in hip hop because hip hop is kind of just broken everything down, so that's just all you're focused in on is the vocals and the words. So I don't know if people will go back to being focused on the music someday. And anyways, but the music for dance for is always got that da 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 16th notes being played somewhere by somebody in the band, and it's a prominent thing. So when I got this, I was thinking, well, this would be really cool because when I'm playing just a clean guitar and I want to do that, it's got to be like hard to keep the tempo, but in a live situation, it's a little easier than sitting and explaining it on a video. It's easier. It just comes out of you a lot easier musically. So with the with this unit, that's what I was hoping for, is to be able to have those kind of grooves, those 16th note dance grooves come out of this machine. So that's what I mean. I want to be able to use this synth, not for that ambient kind of stuff, but I want to be able to pump out, you know, like a programmed 16th note rhythm that the band would follow. Because there's 3 other players in the band, drums, bass, and guitar. So, and usually in a dance groove, that thing that's pumping that 16th note rhythm, whether it's hi-hats or a synth, is so prominent that the guitar players are not doing a lot, but the vocals are what becomes a lot more important. So that's what I'm kind of, I guess, focused on with this unit. Now, if I was a composer arranging for movie soundtracks or commercial, I might be finding a load of stuff on here that would be usable. But so far, for me, not so much. Let's do a little more searching. What I'm finding really interesting that might be something I find out is if I set this to organ and go through all this. I've been set on dual from the get-go through all these different tones, but that knob can be switched to dual bass, organ, bell, string, PAD. If I switch it to those, I'm not sure if these change dramatically. Something I'll have to find out. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing it. And in fact, I'm not going to spend much more time on this today because I haven't been able to find anything, and I've been through, I don't know, 30 or 40 so far. What I like to do, and what I will do for tomorrow, or when I come back, is I'm gonna find composable tones from this machine, if that makes any sense. I want to use the SY200 to come up, to find something that inspires me to come up with a groove or a riff. And I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm going to go through each of these tones, maybe 100 or 200, maybe 300 for the rest of the day, but not broadcast it. And then tomorrow or next time I'm on, I'll have those things written down, and what we'll do is we'll go through all the ones that I found up into a certain number, and then you'll be able to hear where I'm really coming from as far as, oh, this sounds really good, and that would fit with this riff to compose this song. So that's basically my strategy right now. And I was just hoping to luck out and find something after 30, but it's been like a half an hour and still working on it. that's it for 53. Let's go to 54. I think we'll wrap it up. Let's go to, we'll go to 55 and wrap this up. But you see what I mean? You're starting to hear, oh, I just heard that one 30 presets ago. That thing is all over this box. So I guess that's the limits of some synths. Although I've heard some synthesizers that are just limitless, but I'm seeing limits to this synthesizer for guitar, and that could be because it's simply for guitar. It's not a keyboard. But we'll keep looking. I'm hoping that somewhere between 55 and 125, there's something I'm going to hit on that's going to make me go, oh, wow. Okay, that's it for 55. Tell you what I'm going to do right now. So I'm not going to touch the variation knob. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right now, go from 54 all the way up to 125 in the main presets without variations. And let's just see what we can find. And I'll go with whatever the variation's set at. So that's 54. Okay, let's go. I can use this button. Yeah, the 1 foot switch can be set to switch from preset to preset, going up, and I apparently can be set to go down too. No surprise there. No surprise there. 57. Nope. Ooh. Wow. Let's just dig a little deeper into this one. This is called Electric Cello, and it's number 62 in the presets. I'm just going to run through some of the variations. There's only 14. To me, that doesn't sound anything like a cello. So, from 62, let's go to 63. Oh, thanks. Nothing. Boring. Squeaky weirdness. Heard that one before. It's kind of interesting too as you go through these to play certain riffs you're familiar with from certain songs. So blues rhythm like that, a Jimmy Reed kind of rhythm, I'm very familiar with. And if there's a slight difference in one of these selections from the synthesizer unit, I'll notice it. Anyways, 71, 72. And you can probably guess what this is supposed to be. Computer organ? Comp organ? Compressor organ? I don't know. Layered organ. Okay, that would have to take some digging. Chorus organ, sweep organ. Sweep organ. Weird. I don't like to push the bass player around because he's a lot bigger than me. So I don't want to do anything like this, which you can hear the bass on there would interfere with the bass guitar, so don't want to do that. Or that. Or that. These are all bass selections. Dirty bass. I'm on 82. That's all right. Very similar to the composition I came up with earlier, so that might sound similar to what I was playing with earlier. 83, 84. No. No. Nope. 87. Nothing there. So that kind of stuff is kind of neat for myself. That's what I'd be looking for. But that's me actually picking out the notes. And so if I wasn't picking out the notes, then I'd want something that just doubles them up to make it faster. Because that would be cool if I could go faster. It's too blurry though. That's one thing I noticed, I think it's called the arpeggio or something in their synth. What's it called? Synchronizer? No. Anyways, it does this dun 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 dun. That is really cool because it's like a tremolo, but it's so distinctive. When you listen to Turbo Lover, perfect example, or Legs by ZZ Top, that synth is just chop, 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 chop. There's no bleeding into the next note, and that's, I find, really cool. And only synths can seem to pull that off. I've heard a lot of tremolos, but they're not that accurate. I used to use that tremolo for some songs that I've written. There it is. Kind of nuts, but we're on 91. We're almost done. I feel like I'm drilling teeth. Sorry. We're almost done. We're on 91. Hang in there. I like to do that because it gives you a good idea of what that would be like in that synchronized, what's that word I'm thinking of? Sequential order thing, whatever. 92. 93. It's kind of freaky, not bad. That's number 93. Let's see what kind of variations there are. Okay. It's only 9. That's number 4. So you know what I think we're getting close to? I've heard that one 3 other times from 0 to 93. We're on 93 right now. Let's go to 94. So I'm starting to get the feeling we're headed to where I was talking about going. We're on 94. Once we get to 100, we'll see what happens. This is getting closer to interesting stuff. Noise isn't really necessary. Laser beam. Yeah, that's what a laser beam sounds like. Nice try, boss. Ooh. Now that's cool. I think I found one. This is 102. It's called Lo-Fi. And all our settings are the same. Haven't gone through the variations. No chord on that, but it's, I notice a lot of the stuff that sounds kind of cool are like single notes that are played on the lower 2 strings, like the E and the A string and the D maybe. So that's very 80s sounding synthy. That's not bad. I don't mind that. So what's that? 2? 2 out of 50 million, whatever. Let's go to 103. This is called Beep. Oh, I'm gonna have to write a song called Beep. Maybe not. Still on beep. Oops. Forgot to. We're on 104 now. So this is lo-fi phase. Nothing there. Wiggle. Can sort of hear the main note, but a lot of wiggling going on there. Those are just noises. That reminds me a little bit of Sweet Fox on the Run. Anyways. We're on 108. I would hate to be in an audience listening to that through a PA system. Like there's no bottom end. Anyhow. But maybe. No. Would not like to hear that. 110. 15 more. No, thank you. Now we're getting closer. So that's very much like a tremolo. I'm just plonking away on the A string. Going to D, back down to A. So that's something I could work with. But for live, it'd be tricky to do something like that live. How about that? That sounds exactly like the the one at between 0 and 10. Tremolo-y. So that's 113, 114. Now we're getting somewhere. Not sure what that is. Sequencer kind of stuff. Lazy bones. Plunk a note, plunk a note, plunk a note, and you get... Not for me. Not for me. Oh, hang on a sec. No. Yeah, these are all sequencers at the end. 118. 119. This is just like an earlier one from the previous video that I did, where I said that quack, crispy sound, that's supposed to duplicate a snare drum. So that's something a drummer would have to listen to, and probably not, I don't know if the drummer would, if you were using this live, I don't know if the drummer would do anything with it. Like maybe play a hi-hat? I'm not sure. Complete waste of stuff. Arpeggios. And the last ones are arpeggios, which I have no use for. Yeah. See all these arpeggio ones? So that was 20 to 25, the very end of the thing. And those were arpeggios. Arpeggios can be played by a guitar using this. Using your hand, your fretting hand. So all those arpeggios are doing for you is making you lazy if you're a guitar player, because you could be playing those notes, but you're not, because you're letting a machine do it. And that, I think, for many years, ever since I think the synthesizer came out in the 70s, I think, or maybe even the 60s, late 60s with the Beatles. I think a lot of people were like, well, you're just pushing a button. There's no talent to that. And I believe in that statement 100%, because it's true. If you press a button, it makes a whole bunch of noises. The talent was making those noises in the first place. There's no talent in really pushing down the key. And I think a lot of people that aren't even musicians get that. And there's some people that, probably don't get it, and they just go to the dance clubs and have a great time. So arpeggios for me, in my opinion, are probably great for the studio and things where you really have to want good timing. Like you get that, right? It's just like a clock. In fact, I can't even pick in time with it because it's so accurate. And I'm a human. I'm not accurate at all. I make a lot of mistakes. So, and that's something, when it comes down to what this is all about, is composing. Regardless of what you're using, like toys like this, I saw all the demos on YouTube. I watched all these guys going through it with their perspective, a perspective of it, and a lot of them were guitar players that just went. They didn't try. They didn't really play like something like. And I guess that could be considered an arpeggio. But I'm playing it. I'm actually not letting a machine do it. I'm playing it on the guitar acoustically. So when it comes down to songwriting, if you feel like there's an arpeggio needed for your song, fantastic. Go for it. It doesn't have to be something you work out on the guitar, like a series. I just prefer coming up with the work and doing the work myself rather than having a computer do it. And I guess that's a little old-fashioned. And, so many composers today don't even use a musical instrument. So, which is fine and good. I love what they do. It's kind of mind-blowing that they don't. I don't get it. Like, I'm like, how do you come up with so much music like that? And you don't even play a musical instrument. It's just fascinating. So, and it's something I dabbled around with composing too. There was a time there I got, despite this Boss SY200, regardless of that unit, you can actually also, when it comes to composing, you can dream something up and go, hey, man, that sounds like the drum beat for this song. And you can actually take your computer, go to YouTube, and I've done this, download the YouTube or record the YouTube sound or Spotify or wherever you're going to find the song, right? And record it onto your computer and then manipulate that with other software that like recording software. You can take MP3s, put them in there, and then slice them up to anything you want. So that's something, I think they call it a mashup, but my version of a mashup was something I never even heard of the word before. I just thought, hey, if this is on the computer, I can actually put that into this software and manipulate it, which I did. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And by doing that, I basically focused on drum beats. And by doing that, the drum beats became a big part of the song. Plus, when it was completed, like I would have the drum beat, then I'd think, oh, guitar riff. That's a cool guitar riff without any drums, like something like an opening for a song is a guitar, just a straight guitar riff. I would take that riff and put it with this drum. So I'd be taking bits and pieces from all these different bands and then composing them into new songs. And the only thing that I would put in is my voice, the words to the song. And because you can manipulate that stuff, and that's probably part of what's going on still today. I'm not sure how the mainstream players or composers are doing things, but it sure was easy to put together a full composition, and I wasn't even focused on actually. Where the song was going. I would put together the drum beat and then I'd figure out there would be a neat guitar riff here, and then I would take that riff and start duplicating it throughout the song. Then I'd listen to that and think, well, I could use this part from that song, and I just keep adding stuff. And then usually the bass is something that it was kind of tricky because it's hard to find bass guitar or bass off the internet, which is like mixed, because the point I'm getting at is by doing things, composing that way, is what happens is you don't need to do any mastering, because you're taking pieces of music from all these different songs, and guess what? Those songs were mastered long time ago. So when you put them into your song, in your DAW or whatever the software you're using, whether it's Pro Tools or I can't remember the one I'm using, but there's something called Cube something. I started with Pro Tools, but I got something that I like more now. Anyways, when you start putting that stuff together and you play it back once it's finished, it's like, wow, I just did all this stuff by taking stuff that other people did 40, 50, 60 years ago, and it was well recorded, so that when you listen to it back, you can hear the full spectrum of sound. And that in itself is very, for a composer, it's quick, it's efficient, and the only thing you have to add is your story, your melody. But you've got your instrumentation down and the melody of the music. Then you just have to put the melody of your words, if there is a melody, and boom, you've got a new tune. And personally, I don't think there's a problem with doing that, because I think what's a lot of players are doing is they're kind of doing that already. And it's a real time saver, because I've worked on songs from scratch with drums and acoustic drums. You have to record them a certain way so you can hear everything. The mics have to be positioned a certain way. It's a lot of work, and in a studio that can add up to a lot of money. So I've done stuff that if I had done them in the studio would have cost $1,500, or sorry, $15,000, between 8 and 15, where I just did them on a laptop by myself, and it even didn't. I don't think it took as much time as going into the recording studio. So getting back to this unit, that I've covered, I think, all I want to cover on this for now. If I keep playing with it today, and I find something that's worthy of talking about in the next video, I'll do that. But I think what I'm going to do is take what I've got so far and start working on compositions based on what I picked up. And I also want to see what these arpeggios are capable of. Because keep in mind, if I can come up with what I was envisioning with this unit, yeah, it's probably a no-brainer to get it, because it'll save me a lot of work on stage, and it'll take the band probably to a different level as well. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'm glad I didn't have to cut this one short. So, yeah, and like they say, leave a comment if you got any suggestions, or if you know something that I don't know about what I was talking. Hey, don't be afraid to share that with me. I'm learning as I go as well. So I know there's some people out there that do know how guys like Post Malone actually record their stuff, or Billie Eilish, share that. That's good, because everybody can benefit from that when it comes down to composing songs. And believe me, right now in our world, we just made it through a pandemic, and now there's this big war going on in Europe, and it's just starting. There's lots and lots and lots of composing that has to be done by artists like those listening to this. So let's get composing music and make the world a better place. So if you like the video, share it, subscribe, do whatever you feel like doing. And I'll see you next time on the next show. Bye-bye.